Let's do it. Let's doom it.
Let's doom it.
Welcome, everybody, to the One Stage at a Time podcast, the podcast where we're playing through video games one stage at a time, every single level, not skipping a level. My name is Aaron Neeson, and I am joined by my gorgeous co-host, Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Aaron. That's me. I'm Andy.
It's you. It's a you, Andy.
It's a me.
Welcome back. And we are joined by the one, the only, the legend himself, Sam Ingersoll. Sam, hello.
Hello. You're damn
Welcome.
right. I'm a
Thank
legend.
you for joining us once again on this podcast.
You've been playing a knockoff of Doom, I see.
Yeah, Gloom, really
Gloom,
the superior 00 video game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is a lie, by the way. This is more hard.
Tell us a little bit about Gloom, though. You've played it?
No, I haven't. Honestly, I just found a list of great Doom knockoff games, and they're my picture until I run out.
Well, there's certainly been a lot of Doom knockoffs over the years. Maybe we'll have to do like a deep dive into some of the more interesting ripoffs. And based on the cover art alone, Gloom looks pretty tight.
I'm not even sure if it was a first-person shooter or not, to be honest.
I know it's a card game, and it's pretty fun. But
Gloom is. I've
true.
actually
that's not this.
Right next to my computer. There's a copy of Gloom sitting right there.
It's great. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll do a podcast on Gloom next.
Yeah. One card at a time. Yeah. We all or the train got there at the exact same time for all of us.
Well, we did not play Gloom, the card game, nor the video game, nor the Pokemon. We played through today Command Control from Doom, the original Doom from 1993.
What else but Doom?
Yes, rip and tear.
So the alphanumerical designation of this map is E1M4. We've returned to your regularly scheduled Doom maps. We finished the secret stage, military base. We battled our way through absolute hordes of enemies, and we came out clean on the other side, just like Andy Dufresne.
I would admit the numbering for the levels threw me off.
Yeah.
So when I went to the secret level, I thought it was like a warp skip from Mario. It's like, oh, that's why it's so hard. I'm like, I just skipped like 5 levels ahead. But then I looked in more into it. It's like, no, they just probably made the game and were like, here's some secret ones. So we'll do 9. We'll do the next one or something. I don't know. It was just really like, oh, okay.
And it's totally unnecessary. Like, there's really no point to it, except for completionism, I guess.
Yeah.
To do the level? Yeah, just for fun.
There's nothing unique about it. I mean, other than it being a unique stage, like it's not like you can get items there that you can't get anyplace else.
Right. And that sort of like threw me a little bit. And although this was the first level that I, on my own, got more than 0% secrets found.
Dude, clap for that.
50% secrets found in the secret level.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean, if you think about it, around that time, that secret levels were kind of a standard almost for video games,
that's
like
true.
Sonic, getting all the gems opens up the special levels.
They're called Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why you're on this series and not our Sonic series.
Maybe we need to bring him on the other one and school him a little bit.
Dude, if Ed heard you calling Chaos Emeralds gems, he would flip his shit.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure his nose is bleeding somewhere right now.
You play as Sonic and you pick up all the coins and you drop all your coins. If you get...
Dude, Ed is just spitting mad right now. Listen,
he doesn't know why he's got diarrhea all of a sudden, but he does.
He just leans over and goes, Sam.
You just sense a disturbance.
But special levels, secret levels are fun. This was the first time where there was an item and I picked it up and had no idea what I needed to use it for.
Aaron, go ahead and enable share screen there. I'm
way ahead of you, buddy.
You
way
did.
ahead of you.
I tried it earlier, and
who's the professional now?
I was so sneaky. I know. I did it between the time you tried and now, and here we are. Look at that.
All right. Well, we'll get right into it, fellas. With command control. A nice secret right out of the gate on this one. Did you guys find this?
No.
Right to the left of this.
God, I hate them so much.
I want to say real quick, my favorite part of the level were all the dead Doomguys everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought that was one, funny, and two, kind of cool because it's like the first game and like the Doomguy lore hasn't spread, like grown enough that he's like, it reminds you that, well, he's just a soldier. He's just the everyday Marine Joe. And these are the guys that didn't make it.
Yeah, a bunch of guys just like you laying dead everywhere.
Yeah.
Which, considering how easily you're tearing through all these guys, you're like, what? These guys suck. God, how are you all dead? Look at me go.
I'm sure they were like, oh, you got a chain gun? I just got this pistol.
Well, we know from the README file that came with this game, the lore from the manual says that Doomguy was left to guard the transport ship with only his pistol, while everyone else went in with the heavy armaments. And when nobody came back, he went in alone with just his pistol.
Okay, I stand corrected.
That's why you start with just the sidearm in the first stage.
You gear up pretty quick. But yeah, this was an interesting level. Like I said, really early on in the main, we're watching a video like we've been doing the last few times. This guy's found 5 million secrets already that I never found in this level.
Mm-hmm. He's already found all but one of the secrets. They're pretty front loaded on this stage.
But there's like kind of a central hub, I guess you could say, in this one too.
Yes. It's the wheel and spokes idea.
And I've played this level multiple times and I still have not figured out. You go into the hub and to your right, there is a hazmat suit. Just sitting there, and that's you use that to not take whatever the poison or nukage.
I think it's called nukage or just damage 4, I suppose.
Yeah,
but I could just be stupid. That's an option, but I had never found where I would need that, like where I would need to be in the nukage long enough to need the suit, and it's timed.
Yeah.
So I've yet to figure that out. So I wanted to get that out front. So when we get to it.
Yeah. I always assumed there was somewhere. Yeah. So you find this radiation suit. I always assumed that it was like, I thought at first that it was inside the room. Like you needed it for inside the room that was right there,
Well, where I thought it was, there's a room later on with nukage, but there's stairs to get up out of it.
Yeah.
So I was checking there. I thought maybe there was something down there. The stairs might have been a clue. Like, hey, here's a hazmat suit. People, if you think about it in kind of real world terms in the game, they would need stairs to go down into the nukage. But I never found what that damn thing was for. And I'm wondering if there was even any reason other than just, hey, here it is.
Yeah. So the hazmat suit is an interesting pickup. It's not permanent, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, it's a suit that you put on, but it just like gradually like melts away.
Maybe the nukage is so strong that like this is the best technology they could come up with. It's just it's going to melt off, but it's all we got.
Yeah. But even when you're not in the nukage, it's so fragile that it just goes away after a while.
Well, maybe it's like a raincoat. And he's just calling
it. And like all raincoats, as we all know, the longer you wear a raincoat, the more it just disintegrates off your body.
Well, if you're in the atmosphere of Phobos, maybe it does. I don't know.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe it's battery powered and it activates as soon as you put it on.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably more plausible.
I mean, their moon is covered in toxic waste, so they're not worried about conservation of anything.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's got wasted. They got mountains of lithium-ion batteries everywhere from these melted suits.
Well, I love that they
it's
apparently
like a Fremen still suit from Dune.
Yeah.
I don't understand the reference. But I love that apparently I guess they must use the toxins as fuel, because why else would they be refining it?
Yeah, the toxin refinery. Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Like you refine crude oil in order to use it as fuel. Like I don't know what they're doing with this toxin stuff.
Okay, here's the new theory. the suits do melt, but they melt into nucage, which they refine back into the plastics to make more suits.
Oh,
It's
it's
the
all a
perfect
circle.
system.
But they need more
No
suits
way.
to
Like a
refine
Fremen
the
still
toxic.
suit.
So really, they don't know which one started, the toxins or the suit, but they've
It's
been
a
going
real
ever
chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
Well, we also know that like this facility is on the moon Phobos, which is just full of hell demons. So, maybe its original purpose has been corrupted somehow.
Yeah, maybe that's what started all of this. That they found the toxin, and it's like, some kind of, soup or, breeding material for the demons. And they're like, they started harvesting it to make these suits, right?
It's like a Yerk pool from Animorphs.
That I don't know the reference for, but it sounds sexy.
Surely someone out there gets that reference.
We've talked about Animorphs a couple times.
Well, I
practically get the reference.
I was a Goosebumps kid. I did not read Animorphs, but I read a lot of. I did not read it all for a long time because I just didn't have the patience for it. But
Sam didn't learn to read until 9th grade.
You know what? It's just going to sound hokey, but what got me into reading finally was Final Fantasy VII.
Dude, yes, no, that
Final
makes
Fantasy
complete
VII,
sense.
and because back in my day, you had to read your goddamn video games.
Dude, they were better that way. I honestly believe that full voice acting is ruining video games.
You got an argument with friends, like, is it? I would say, yeah, man, I've got 20,000 gil, and my friend would go, you mean Jill? and then friendships would end.
It's Gil, obviously. If you say Jill, you're a loser.
Obviously.
Well, what do the voice actors say?
I don't think
I'm not sure. Yeah,
but they do say Yuffie or you. I forget. It's not Yuffie or Yuffie.
That sounds racist.
I know.
They say one wrong.
Oh yeah. It's like Eris and Aerith.
Yeah, oh god, Guts and
Gatsu, yeah.
Oh, it's Japanese pronunciation's a whole nother podcast.
I was about to make fun of someone that I slightly know for like naming their kid a name from a certain game, but I realized that they might hear the show sometime and be offended. So
name and shame
I'm not going to do that.
Saying a different character, but from the same game.
Is it the gaming historian? Because I hate that guy. Let's beef with him.
No. It's someone I know in real life, not Norman Caruso, the gaming historian. So,
should we talk about Doom?
Yeah, let's talk about Doom.
Let's talk about Doom. How about we talk about Doom?
Command Control.
Level 4.
Kick-ass track.
Oh, I remember. You guys were asking. We got off on that riff train because we were talking about the stupid suit that you can wear.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a temporary power-up. It lasts maybe 60 seconds. I'm not sure on the exact timer. Makes you immune to the damage floor. That's all it does. It's often placed like somewhat far away from where you would actually need it. So you might
timer really comes into play.
You might like brute force your way through the damage floor before you even find the suit and then kind of rendering it moot. Or you might find it like way before you ever see damage floor and then it's worn off by the time you actually get there.
So it's probably, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was just going to say the way it's implemented is kind of wonky and honestly doesn't work that well most of the time, in my opinion.
It seems very counterintuitive to I don't want to say modern game design because it seems like it's not a modern concept to put a new thing near where you want to use it.
Yeah. It's very weird, especially because we've been joking around, but like the fact that it is like a garment that you put on, it seems weird that it should be temporary. And this is the case too. We haven't seen it yet, but when you later get the night vision goggle power up, it's the same thing. Like they just like disappear after being worn for about 60 seconds or so.
That one kind of makes a little more sense though. Like that one would clearly be battery powered, so you could like make it you could think in your head like it runs on batteries and the batteries run out, whatever. The suit though is a little silly. In this level though, it just struck me that it would be used in this level to get the blue screaming soul orb.
Yes,
because that's down a river of slime.
Yes,
but it wasn't very long. If you run,
no, and I did the same thing. I ran to it. I didn't use it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
but it just hit me. I'm like, oh, duh, that's what it's for.
So my thought was
for pussies.
Yeah, like maybe on harder difficulties, it ticks more often or hurts more, and maybe you're hurting for health more, so you would want to use it. But I don't know. But then why not just only have it on harder difficulties there? But it was early times in game design. They just probably thought it was cool, so they put it in.
Probably so, yeah. They were really experimenting with this game.
I assume that's going to come, like you said, more into play later on. So this was just like our first introduction to it.
That's true.
Yeah, okay, there will be stages later where you'll find like a room that has like 3 or 4 like toxic suits in it. And then you're like, oh, I guess I'm going to need these eventually. And you'll have to double back there to grab them before you go explore a very large nukage area a little bit like in a different spot.
So since I haven't played, I'm playing the levels kind of as we do this. That makes more sense then, because let's introduce the item. Let's put it somewhere where it's really obvious. It's right there. You run over it. Something happens. The screens change. Maybe you're not sure what's going on, and you go into some nukage and you realize, oh, okay, I'm not taking damage. So it's not necessary to have it in this level, but because it's not necessary, it's easier to show you what it does. So when it becomes necessary, you don't get stuck and frustrated because you don't realize that you're missing a mechanic. So
that's so true.
That kind of switches it more into, these guys are really geniuses and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like teaching you to play it without actually like having a tutorial on screen, which any avid listener would know that I hate tutorials. So actually, it's good that they do it this way.
Well, sometimes, but the vast majority is just a slog of text, and it really pulls you out. And it's like, oh, you're playing a video game.
Yeah.
And with this, you're playing Doom, and a useless item just in the middle of a room becomes a really good tutorial. Yeah, that doesn't pull you out of the game.
Except we also were very confused about the whole thing, guys.
True. Well, no, but here's my point, though. Like, we were confused, but we're still like, there's nothing about it that's pulling my head out of the headspace of playing.
Yes,
the game.
You're still immersed. You're still immersed.
It's like a little clue, and you're putting it together, and then when you see it later, because you haven't played that far yet, Aaron, but when you get further and further, it'll start to click more.
And you're not thinking of a wall of text where you read about how to use the hazmat suit.
Yeah, like a fucking Kingdom Hearts game where you get a new power and there's like 80 million text boxes to explain how to use it.
I mean, the example is that now that we're talking about it, I realize that was a tutorial, right? So like the fact that I didn't even think about it to a point where I thought it was stupid shows me that that's a really great way to do it.
Yeah, I think we've done a complete 180. Now we're like, it's really good that they did it this way.
Because that totally takes out a bunch of frustration. Like there's been and specifically in older games, where it's like something happens and like I don't know what's going on. I'm running in circles. I can't figure it out. And it's like, oh, there's this one specific thing in this one little corner that you just didn't know about. So like, by giving me a chance to play with this new item in a way that is totally useless, technically, really, will just make it that much obvious and easier when I have to have it, and I can't do it without it.
That's so true, because like it's totally not required, but you're starting to like understand that this is a power up, and it doesn't explicitly tell you how to use it. I think the manual explains it, but even if you haven't read the manual, you can kind of figure it out from context. This game is pretty good that way, about like nothing super obtuse. It's not a pixel hunt. There's no stupid sequence triggers. Some of the secrets have stupid triggers, but like
I was gonna say, man,
to actually but to actually just get through the game, you don't really need to find any of that dumb stuff.
And I think that's the way that they handle explaining things is one of the reasons why it's such a classic and a timeless thing. It's like making a show or a cartoon or something that has no dialogue. Like everyone across the world can play it and appreciate it and understand it without being any kind of barriers. And like Doom seems to be doing that. Like it's not telling you this is the rocket launcher. You left click to shoot rocket. It's just you just pick it up and you do. You're like, well, fuck, okay, I did it. And like back to the hazmat suit. Like there's no explanation. You could read the manual, like you said, but you don't need to. And building it in, putting it in this way, and there's even a little bit of nukage just for kind of an aesthetic right by the suit. Where you could test it out, I guess, if you thought, oh, is this like, oh, my screen is green, nukage is green, maybe I can try it out right here. Like they didn't need to put that nukage there's really no reason it's there, but it's right also, next to the suit.
Can I just say that calling it nukage is such a 90s thing to do?
Oh, yeah. I think I mentioned that in the first episode. Like, all the toxic waste stuff is like real fucking 90s.
Nukage, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got serious nukage in this level.
I'm surprised there's not an enemy that like barfs it up or something.
Yeah, oh, man. Yeah.
Gross thing. I do like how some of the doors have like smudge and like grody stuff on, like smudged on it now. Like the first level was pretty clean, and sharp. But now some of the stuff is just like getting a little dirtier and grimier and grosser.
There's some good visual storytelling here. Like this is the command control of the Phobos base. So presumably like we're getting closer to the heart of whatever's going on here. And like you guys mentioned up front, we're seeing lots of dead troopers who apparently were either part of our team or who resisted, the initial like possession by these demons, and things are getting grimier. We saw a satanic pentagram in the previous stage. So I like that progression of how we're gradually getting like deeper into the hell nightmare.
Yeah, and we're just starting too.
Speaking of progression, we had a maze earlier and a few levels ago.
Yep.
There's another maze that's way more evil, I think.
Yeah.
Not because it's hard to go through, but the fact that there are pinkies and imps hidden. And is there a trigger? Is there like a surprise trigger in this maze? Because I swear to God that like I was going around and like I thought I killed everything, and all of a sudden there's like a pinky in front of me and an imp behind me, and I'm like freaking out trying to kill these guys before they wipe me out.
Yeah.
And they do this. So the first maze was pretty standard. You're just going through. It's a little dark. What I like about this maze is that they raise the floor up so it's really tight and claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Drop down sometimes, and it kind of, I wouldn't say panic. It's a game from 1993, okay? You're not going to panic when playing this game. But when they start throwing all these pinkies and stuff around, you get a little like, oh God, okay, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like bumping into stuff and going up and down, and it really adds
panic.
Like,
and there's like barrels like in certain places, so you might get stuck on a barrel as you're trying to back around a corner.
Or this is the first level I died in. It was because I got pinned up by a pinky and some imps in this maze, and I shot a barrel that was right. I didn't see it, and it blew the shit out of me. So like they kind of put them just around the corner so you can tag them when you don't even see them around the corner in that maze. So the maze was a lot more brutal in this level, I think.
Yeah. I agree with that. I like if you play on Hurt Me Plenty, which if you play on anything lower than Hurt Me Plenty, you have no business playing Doom. Okay. But if you're playing on Hurt Me Plenty, you're going to see a fair amount of pinkies and imps in this maze. If you're playing on Ultra Violence, it's just chock full of those fuckers.
I just want to, before we move on, I just want to say I don't judge you for playing on an easy difficulty. Fellow parents out there, we have a limited amount of time and a limited amount of patience. Sometimes we just want to feel like a fucking god, all right? We have no control over our lives anymore.
Normally, I agree. Normally,
we don't all have time for unlimited spawning enemies.
No time for that bullshit.
Which I can't imagine. And that such a small space would just be like insane.
Normally, I agree, but in the case of Doom, Hurt Me Plenty is the normal difficulty.
Yes.
If you're playing on anything lower than that, it's like, what are you even doing? Like Doom is about running in, getting messed up and bloody, just tearing through just hordes after hordes of enemies. So you really need to be playing on Hurt Me Plenty or above, in my humble opinion.
It gets even, I know I have a habit of derailing off into other Doom games here, but the newest Doom, I don't know if it was in Doom 2016, but in Eternal, there's they have a similar thing where it's like the hardest difficulty, but then the one above that just has one small caveat that makes it insanely harder.
Mhm.
The caveat in Doom Eternal is that when you die, it restarts you from the beginning of the game.
Oh shit! I think
one of my-
2016 might have had that.
Yeah, permadeath. And one of my favorite streamers actually beat it.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I've
Was
seen
it,
some of the gameplay in Doom Eternal.
Was it
and
Dr.
it's
Disrespect?
No, it was Moon.
Before his his
Doctor Disappear.
Yeah, before his unjust banning from Twitch.
What is going on with all these streamers, guys? I mean, like, I'm not paying too close attention. I just keep seeing things about Ninja and Dr. Disrespect just popping up on Reddit randomly.
I can throw it down really quick. Basically, basically kind of a Me Too movement just happened recently in video games streaming and like esports, to a point where Evo got canceled. A bunch of shit went down with the Smash community.
I know that guy Zero. He was like number one in the world or something. He just got canceled.
He was like a pedophile or something crazy.
A Japanese player that had all kinds of like weird sex crimes come out of him.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. But
one of the biggest Fire Emblem YouTubers just got had to like leave the community and basically quit because of all these allegations against him too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty much like wham, big bombshell. But what happened right before that were two things. First, Dr. Disrespect, just boom, his channel was gone. His emotes were gone. His subs got refunded. A bunch of sponsors apparently like auto dropped him. No, we still don't know what happened.
I remember seeing the headlines for it, and it was like Dr. Disrespect, banned from Twitch, and it was like we don't know why, but the sub headline was like, "This follows Dr. Disrespect's temporary ban last year from when he streamed from a public bathroom."
He went to TwitchCon and brought a camera into the bathroom. It's a whole meme.
What a badass!
But what happened was,
dude, salute to Dr. Disrespect.
You were listening to too much Chapo, Andy. That is not a badass.
But what happened?
Such a big dick move.
That happened, and my theory was that maybe it was not. It was something he wanted. Like he was like trying to get out of Twitch and causing some drama, so people were talking about him in the media and everything. But so that he does that. Mixer has a huge reveal that of accusations of racism within the people who run it. Microsoft shut it down completely. Mixer's gone.
Yeah,
which made Shroud and Ninja free agents.
Wasn't it Facebook? I thought Mixer was Facebook.
No, that was Microsoft. Microsoft is Mixer. Microsoft basically got rid of it, closed it down. It's gone. No more Mixer.
Damn.
So Ninja and Shroud made off like bands. It's rumored that Ninja got $30 million to leave Twitch, and he only had to stream for like a year, and now he's a free agent to do whatever the fuck he wants.
He just gets to pocket all that money.
Yeah, he can go. He did a stream recently on YouTube. He hasn't signed with them, but he was just a one-time thing, and people were still donating, so it's crazy. But another thing that happened, which is not so fun, Rectful, who is like one of the long-time streamers, one of the world's best PvP arena champions in WoW, committed suicide.
I heard about that.
And this is like, it was
super
really
fucked up
because he was like one of the faces, like long time. He'd been streaming for years. So all this happened all within a month. So things went crazy, and now no one gives a fuck about Dr. Disrespect anymore. So like all this shit happened after what happened with him, and no one's talking about him anymore, to a point where I don't even care. It's like, what? Who? Okay, I've gotten over not watching him anymore. So I hope he figures this shit out, because I mean, it's not like I still think he was trying to do some PR stuff, and he just got fucked by life. Like the world decided to do something, and it did not work out for him. So I hope he can fucking get his shit together. But I don't know. That's just my theory. But
No, it
a
makes
lot of
sense.
crazy shit happened.
It was a weird situation. I hope we get an answer to eventually to the mystery of what happened to Dr. Disrespect.
I'm sure he'll show up, but I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know why they wouldn't, but these big streamers like Ninja, Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, I don't know why they haven't just started their own websites and streamed exclusively on their own sites and pocketed all the money they're making instead of giving half of it to somebody else.
Do you think that makes sense?
I think it would for Ninja. 100%.
If he could get the servers and shit working.
Or if
because I mean that's a lot of upkeep. He would literally need to hire tech people to run that shit.
But what if those three formed a company together and host? But think of it this way: they wouldn't need a tech person. They would need maybe one, because it would only be one person streaming. They would just need one person. They're not hosting a site for thousands of people. It's like, this is the Ninja show starring Ninja. I mean, no. No.
It's like when Louis C.K. did that special that he just sold on his own website.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is different. Streaming to thousands and thousands of people is different from having a one-time download per person. That's a lot of streaming. You'd need a lot of server power. It would need a lot of.
All right, I'm gonna abort this.
Abort,
tangent.
yes, please.
Abort.
Please.
Let's click the eject button. Let's get back to Doom 1993.
Let's get back to Doom.
All right. So, Aaron, what did you think of Command Control?
Oh, Command Control. I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was hard as fuck. I died my first time through when I had all my weapons, and I decided to just play it as is.
Interesting. Ballsy move.
And I did much better, and I beat it that time.
It's kind of fun to just go in cold, with just your pistol and see if you can get through.
It is, and I don't think that subsequent levels are going to go as well. But this one it went all right. It was hard, but it helped that I knew a little bit more about the level already and knew a little bit more what to expect. So I was able to plan some slight strategies. I was still just mostly balls to the walls, but on the whole, it went better the second time. The maze was a lot easier because I knew what to expect and knew to fucking check my corners.
Check your corners, man.
Check your corners. And I really liked this level. Did something really well that I really appreciated. I loved the changes in spatialness. You start off in this big open room, some enemies there, enemies up above. There are other big open rooms, and then it squeezes you down real tight in that maze and really makes you feel like you're trapped.
They really fluctuate the verticality of the level, the different parts of the level, and you're even hopping down underneath things and going upstairs, and you can see into little boxes that are higher up, and it's a lot of up and down. And another thing that I want to mention before I forget, I'm sure this changes later, but there's still dying and starting from scratch isn't a problem, because even the pinkies only take 2 or 3 shots if you shoot them just right with a shotgun.
That's true.
So still nothing in this level that requires more than the shotgun to really handle. So
that's true. Yeah. I mean,
like Aaron said,
we will see enemies that can take more punishment, but not quite yet.
So dying and just not, save scumming is still a viable option at this point, really. But I fully expect for that to not be the case, or to make it's way harder later.
They always make it possible to finish a level when you just start from scratch, but it's not advisable, especially in Thy Flesh Consumed. You really don't want to do that. But I would say episodes 2 and 3, it's pretty doable depending on the difficulty level. On Hurt Me Plenty, you can probably scrape by, but on Ultraviolence, you're probably going to want to save scum unless you're very experienced.
And I want to bring up.
No, what do you mean, Andy? I thought that if you aren't a badass who can conquer everything with just your dick, then you shouldn't be playing Doom.
Well, I could do that, but you can't hold everyone to my standard.
Aaron, it sounds like you're just talking to yourself, and you're berating your own.
I'm not saying I can't conquer it, just slapping demons with my dick, but
I just don't want to.
I just don't look down on those who can't.
Yeah, you just don't want to show off.
That's right.
I want to do a throwback to our first episode that I could have done at any point, but I'm just remembering it now. That the chain gun, using the same bullet type we assume from the pistol,
Yes,
has that same stun lock animation that we were talking about, which is kind of nice for the pinkies and stuff.
Aaron, we didn't talk about it. That's a good point, Sam. Aaron, we didn't talk about it last episode, but that would have been your first chance to operate the chain gun, since it was a very well hidden secret in stages 2 and 3. But what are your impressions overall of using the chain gun?
It's great. It was great. And, like I remember making the comment about like, oh, you might want to switch to the pistol if, you're low on ammo, you want to be a little more conservative. I was just, I got to that point and I was just like, tap, 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 tap. And it worked out just fine. With the chain gun. Once you get the chain gun, there's no reason to have the pistol anymore.
There's no going back.
It really replaces it. And honestly, the weapon I use a lot of the time when I want to save my special stuff is the shotgun. It's like the shotgun is basically the new pistol after that. Mm-hmm. But again, man, the sound design in this game is so good. Like it's so simple, but the chain gun, it literally to me just sounds like they looped the pistol over and over again.
That's probably exactly what they did.
But it's like, that first shot just sounds like someone's whacking a 2x4 on a table, and it's so satisfying. Like, I really feel like I'm fucking shit up with that chain gun.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. Like all the sound effects, there's just like a really like juicy quality to them. You just they're just so viscerally satisfying.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly the word I was thinking. Visceral.
With a melee, it's the term they usually use in a game with like melees. There's some weight behind the attack.
Yeah,
so it's like the sound effects. The guns have weight behind them, so it feels like you're really like you got this. You're really doing the damage. It's not a light wispy flying around. Like bad sound design and like like I compare it to like have you guys ever watched or played the new God of War?
I've seen some vids of it.
That's another game that just fucking nails that juicy, meaty, heavy hitting melee sound. It's not a gun, but like you've got this axe. It's like your main weapon. It's just like it feels so good just to chop things. It's the same way with shooting almost every gun so far in this game. It's just like it just sounds correct.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
that is correct. All right, boys. Well, I think we've talked about most of the crucial elements of this stage, but before we go, there are a couple of things I wanted to touch on. One is the swastika. We didn't really talk about that yet, but there's an interesting swastika-shaped feature in this stage. Do you all know what I'm talking about?
Is the blue room? Lowering?
It's the blue room.
Oh,
I was while we were when I played that today, I thought, is that a swastika? It's not quite a swastika.
It's not exactly a swastika.
Even before it came down, I was going around the corners like, this looks kind of like a swastika. I'm like, what is going on with this?
It's maybe a throwback to their Wolfenstein roots.
If someone was like, oh man, I love swastikas, I'm going to put one in the game.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic for this shape for some reason.
Well, it is the blue. Okay, so the blue and gray is pretty much the entire color scheme of Wolfenstein 3D.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe,
this is a very Wolfenstein room.
They're like, Richard, we can't put a fucking swastika in the game. It's like, come on.
I really want to
look. I'll just make
Tom
it
Hall
like
pushed really hard for that swastika.
Put a couple little extra brackets on it. It'll be like a bunch of H's.
It'll just be the suggestion of a swastika. It won't be actually a swastika.
Decades of fan theories and conspiracy theories at all.
No. Okay. We didn't talk about the music for this stage, but
you can really see it there.
The musical track is Kitchen Ace and Taking Names.
Like kicking ass and taking names.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, you kind of got to chew on that one for a second. And yeah, we're looking at a map of it now, and you can definitely see the swastika.
It's like someone drew a swastika. They put it in the game. Someone's like, "You can't fucking do that." I'm like, "Fine. There's no swastika in the game.
It's not a swastika. You didn't say I couldn't have
one,
that.
so now it's not one." Not touching you, not touching you.
Yeah, it's something like a 6-year-old would do.
Basically, they moved 2 parts to the left and right.
I was thinking
that's
the
it.
same thing.
That's pretty much all they did. If you move 2 parts into the center, it's a swastika.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's literally a swastika. They didn't remove anything completely or add something to a swastika. They just moved 2 parts, and it's not a swastika.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. I don't like it.
Like after Wolfenstein and just all the Nazi imagery they crammed into that game, it's weird that they would just shy away from a swastika.
And not only that, but this is like 10 times worse because one, it's not even that it's not a game about Nazis at all, but that they like half-ass hide it.
Yeah. It'd almost be better if it was literally just a swastika, so they could be like, yes, that was a nod to Wolfenstein.
Yeah, like shittily hiding. I mean, maybe it's not a swastika, right? Maybe it's just
a coincidence.
Just unfortunate design. But if, let's say, they did do that, like having a million swastikas on the screen is way worse than like, I want to hide one in the game. Right? Because it's like, well, that makes me think the guy really does like swastikas more than for the aesthetics of a video game. And he wants to put one in there to laugh with his swastika buddies about
like he stuck the number 88 in there somewhere.
Like, again, I always reference the other Doom games. Like the guy who made the music for Doom 2016, he hid pentagrams and 666 in the waveforms of the songs as a joke because he thought it was funny. Yeah. But you would only see it if you like ripped all the music and put it into this waveform thing. It's the only way you would see it. But he put it in there. Like, it's like that. Genius. But this is a swastika.
All right. Well, speaking of wacky creators, this is one of the few stages in Doom that was designed by Tom Hall. He designed 2 stages in episode 1, a few more in episode 2, and maybe 1 in episode 3. Tom Hall, let's look at a picture of him now. So we've got John Romero on the right and Tom Hall on the left here.
Tom Hall looks like he is like the spawn of both Johns.
Yeah. Tom Hall looks like they tried to clone John Romero and they ended up with just like an inferior, like, a really, really bad inferior copy.
Aww.
It's like the first and last clone in Multiplicity.
Yes, exactly. Tom Hall, like he has like that glorious long hair, but like he's already balding, but like he has the long hair like to compensate for it.
John Romero looks like a stunt double for a really bad stunt double for the Highlander TV show.
If you just look at the clothes John Romero is wearing too, like he's got these super tight pants on, like
yes, he does.
This black belt with like these like silver studs all around the edge of it, and then Tom Hall is just wearing like blue jeans and like a black t-shirt.
It's like Aragorn and Gollum. I mean, the guy, he's like licking his lips in the picture.
Yeah,
he's looking right into the camera. His hair it's like John Romero's hair is slipping off the back of his head. He
looks like Fabio.
I was going to say he's not Aragorn. He's Fabio is what he is.
Well,
like a short Fabio.
Neither of them are anything, right? But also Tom Holland is dressed like I was in high school. And he's probably,
you had long hair like that.
Wait, guys, is that not a style even now? I thought that was timeless. I wear that out every weekend.
Well, we shouldn't rip on Tom Hall because we're all exceedingly ugly men. But it's just fun to talk about. But Tom Hall was a critical designer of this game. He wrote the Doom Bible, believe it or not, which was the design document for Doom. Most of it was thrown out. There was a really acrimonious fight that Tom Hall had with John Carmack, and mostly John Carmack, but others, about he was pushing for certain things that John didn't think were important. John
swastikas.
So, yeah, too many swastikas. John, I think, was just like more of a technical guy and really just wanted like a pure shooter game, whereas Tom was pushing for more of a narrative thing. It almost like what he was describing sounds almost like something like Half-Life, where it was like a big like interconnected world where you're moving between different zones of it, or maybe something like BioShock. But
he was basically ahead of his time as far as game development. You know, the things he wanted in the game wouldn't be standard for years.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the things that he's credited with, like John Romero has said, that he pushed really hard for teleporters to be in the game, which, you know, teleporters ended up being a pretty critical part of Doom and every shooter that came after it. So I guess he gets credit for that. And then also, supposedly, he was the one who pushed for secrets in Wolfenstein 3D. I guess originally they weren't going to do that, and he says that he had to fight to have them in there. And then secrets, you know, you couldn't have Wolfenstein or Doom without secrets, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, it first person shooter, everyone's looking, everyone's against the wall. Everyone wants to find a secret, you know.
They're even just humping every wall.
To our own
secrets all over the place.
Madness.
They're all over the place in the 2 new Doom games.
So anyway, that's a little bit of the Ballad of Tom Hall. He either was fired or quit from the development part of the way through. Kind of an acrimonious departure. So very few of the maps he worked on are in the game. The ones that he did work on were completed by other people. They brought in another guy named Sandy Peterson after Tom Hall left, and Sandy ended up finishing a lot of his work and doing, I think, most of the maps for Doom, actually. John Romero did a fair few, but I think Sandy Peterson did the bulk of the work. But some of what Tom Hall worked on was completed by Romero and Peterson and made it into the final game. And this is one of those stages. So if it feels a little different, you know, in terms of like atmosphere or design, that's why.
It definitely feels like there's a lot going on, not in a bad way. Like we even mentioned, you know, there's like lots of like open and small, and just looking at the map layout from above, it just seems like a way more kind of intricate. There's a lot more going on in this level. It seems a lot more variation.
Yeah, it's more spread out. It's not like as straightforward. There's lots of contrasts, like you mentioned earlier. You go from wide open spaces to really narrow spaces. You're going from up to down. So it to me, it feels different from what's come before.
It does. It definitely does.
I loved looking at it too. Like you see the labyrinth here, the little maze, and it's just like, oh, you can hang a right, go straight.
Yeah.
And then hang a right and a left and you're down.
Like most mazes, once you know how to solve it, it's nothing too challenging.
Yeah.
You look at the top, you think, oh yeah, it's simple maze. And then thinking of it from inside the maze, it's just screaming chain guns and pinkies.
Well, boys, what do we think on the whole? Did we like Command Control?
I did, yeah. I did a lot. The first playthrough, I blew through it because you kind of get to the exit pretty quickly if you're not kind of exploring around.
Yeah,
but
you can go straight there pretty much.
Yeah, so I think the first time I did it, I was just like, done. But I kind of went back to it a couple more times and realized there's a lot more kind of, you can kind of like explore it. It's more of a map you can explore, I think, and kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, like it definitely feels a little different.
Yeah, I found my first playthrough, which the one I died on, I found the exit pretty quickly, but I couldn't unlock it. So it was a tease for me. Like it was there. I could see it. I tried dashing across that gap a few times before I was like, shit. Okay, so I got to keep going. And I actually appreciate it. I thought that was fun. I was like, there it is. Yeah. It's out of reach. And so I had to go and explore some more, which was kind of cool. But yeah, no, I thought this level was really cool. It was challenging. It was harder even than the one that came before with the hordes and hordes of enemies for me. So yeah, no, I actually really liked this level quite a bit. What about you, Andy? What did you think about it?
You know, it's a different level. I think I prefer the ones that came before. Command Control feels, I don't know, like I almost get lost in it because of how different one room is to another. Like the rooms don't seem to fit together as well. Like you go from that open area with all those different hallways to that circular area in the middle with the gates that come up and down. There's the swastika room. There's that maze. There's the nukage area. It just like feels like all these weird elements all tacked on together.
You know, I think definitely, and I think maybe I enjoyed it just because of how how different it feels to play it. It's kind of stuck in my mind a little more. But really, learning that it was a Tom Holland map that didn't get finished by him, it kind of feels that way almost. Like there's all these ideas that are here, but maybe they don't flow together as well as they would have if the guy who had the concept for them had finished it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
his name's Tom Hall, not Tom Holland, right?
Oh, is it?
I keep on being like, Spider-Man designed this?
Yeah, I realized my mistake. Well, at least we fixed it for this one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, I'm glad you did it because I did not realize that I was saying Holland.
I just wasn't sure I misheard you or not, honestly.
Years before he was born, he was already getting thrown out of id Software.
What do you say we leave it there for today, fellas?
Yeah.
No. More Twitch talk.
Yeah, Aaron, tell us what you really, really think about Dr. Disrespect.
Well, just pay attention, folks. We'll be hijacking Dr. Disrespect's channel here in the next few weeks. So watch out. One stage at a time. It's streaming Dr. Disrespect now.
We have some NDAs, but someone new might be joining the podcast.
Oh shit! Well,
Sam, how could you,
folks? You can find out if we're pulling your leg or not on the next exciting episode of One Stage at a Time. So we're going to be back very soon with the next stage of Doom, which is E1M5 Phobos Lab. So perhaps we will continue to get to the bottom of just what's going on with this strange teleportation anomaly in the laboratory. But until then, we will be signing off. You can join us in a week's time for the next episode. In half a week's time, you can check out our side quest series where we're continuing to play through Sonic for the Game Gear. So let us know what you think about that. Let us know what you thought about this episode as well. Aaron, what do you want to say to the fine folks at home before we sign off today?
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. We love you dearly. Oh, so very much. We love you. We stan you. We stan you. OneStageAtAtime.com for all of our things. Go find us on our socials, on our YouTube. Please subscribe to those as well. We really appreciate it. And get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about Doom. We'd love to hear from you. And Sam, thank you for being here, sir. It was a great pleasure and joy having you here.
Oh, yeah. I had a great time.
Good. We're going to have you back again real soon. Real fucking soon, man.
Real soon.
Sam, do you remember our sign off?
I think so. I might get the end wrong, but
give it a shot. I believe in you.
Save and continue.
Hell yeah.
You did.
There you go.